Hi, my name is Cody Reinhardt, and this is my professional development final project for ED 590 about the book Teach Like a Pirate by David Burgess. First off, I wanted to give a little bit of background insight on the author of the book himself, David Burgess. I put a quote here that I really enjoyed from his book that we just read. It says, "Much of your success as an educator has to do with your attitude towards teaching and towards children. The rest is based on your willingness to relentlessly search for what engages students in the classroom and then having the guts to do it." I think this is a great quote to define teaching and for teachers to look at and really take with them through the classroom. David Burgess is a highly sought-after professional development speaker who's well known for his creative, entertaining, and outrageously energetic style. He has workshops, seminars, and keynotes that inspire teachers and help them develop practical ways to become more creative and engaging in their classrooms. He is an award-winning U.S. history teacher at West Hills High School in San Diego, California, where he has taught for 16 years. He specializes in teaching hard-to-reach, hard-to-motivate students with techniques that incorporate showmanship and creativity. Reading this book has really opened my eyes to how to be a great teacher, and I really enjoyed reading it. Dave Burgess wants us to read this book and use it like a treasure map to guide you in the reward of total transformation in your classroom. The hope of it is to lead us to become more passionate, creative, and fulfilled in our roles as teachers, to help create an inviting, engaging, and most importantly, an empowering classroom environment for our students, to have the spirit of a pirate, which is daring, adventurous, and willing to set forth into uncharted territories with no guaranteed success, not to actually be a pirate. Pirates don't care about public perceptions. They fly their flags in defiance anyways. To be leaders who are willing to venture forward without a clear map to explore new frontiers. David Burgess splits this book up into 3 parts. This first part is called Teach Like a Pirate. Throughout this section, he makes 6 different chapters, each with 1 letter from the word pirate. He uses this as an acronym to portray his message throughout this lesson. The first letter is P. P is for passion. How to be excited and feel passionate about your job as a teacher, even if your teaching is not so exciting. Even if what you're teaching is not so exciting. We are not always passionate about everything that we teach, unfortunately. But how do we find and maintain the passion for teaching all of the time? He gives 3 concepts here involving passion. Content passion, where we find what content drives you the most to teach. Professional passion, which you can use if content passion is not working. You find what drives you within your profession to help change your perspective. Your personal passion, find as many ways possible to incorporate your personal passion into your work to make it more fun and fulfilling as an educator. Your passion will help sustain you through the long stretches that try to drag you down. Inspire greatness and be on fire. Letter 2 is I for immersion. Do Whatever You Do Intensely by Robert Henry. Total immersion is a very powerful technique. Give yourself up to the moment and fully be with your students. Full presence of the instructor has a tremendous effect on the learning environment. It is very important to be fully engaged in your students, showing them as much attention as you can provide. R is for rapport. Here's a quote, 100 victories in 100 battles is not the most skillful. Subduing the other's military without battle is the most skillful. Sun Tzu. We don't want to develop techniques as teachers to win behavioral management battles. We want to develop techniques that allow us to avoid the battles altogether. If we keep our students engaged and interested throughout the lesson, it's a much greater chance that the students will continue to be engaged and behave well. Learn as much you can possible about your students and spend informal time with them, showing interest in their lives. Get playful with them. Model behavior you want them to show to you. Also, you can use the first 3 days of school to help gain information about your students and set the tone and standards for the class throughout the rest of the year. A is for ask and analyze. The types of questions we ask ourselves determine the types of answers that we'll receive. If you ask the right questions and then actively seek the answers, actively and consistently attempt to create. Inspiration is all around us. You just have to look for it. The law of attraction, commit, start working, and then be open to what's to come. Take notes on ideas and be prepared to do so. Dare to fail, then use the feedback to adjust and improve on things. Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly, by Robert F. Kennedy. T is for transformation. Provide an uncommon experience for your students and they will reward you with an uncommon effort and attitude. This is from the very own Dave Burgess. How to raise the bar. You need to create an environment that is so unique and enjoyable that even if the students were not required to be in class, they would still attend. The goal is to transform your class into something that's irresistible to your students. The next one is E, enthusiasm. There is nothing more contagious on this planet than enthusiasm. The songs come incidental. What people receive is your job. Carlos Santana. Excellence as a teacher starts with having passion for what you do in life and is driven home with your enthusiasm. Commit to being on fire. Act as if you have enthusiasm, even if you don't have it at the moment. Change the way you focus your mind on things. Your attitude carries with it your single most powerful tool to influence your classroom. If you infect your lessons and everything you do with enthusiasm, then you can sit back and watch it spread like wildfire. Part 2 of this book is called Crafting Engaging Lessons. Dave Burgess goes over different things to do, to think about before starting your lessons. The first chapter in this part is called The Third Circle. A good teacher, like a good entertainer, must hold his audience's attention and then he can teach his lesson. It's very important to go into your lesson with a plan. Presentation is extremely important and it helps keep students engaged. You have to be prepared ahead of time, bring energy, enthusiasm, and showmanship to your presentations. Layer your hooks so engagement doesn't waver. Build a love for learning. Combine presentational decisions and choices to create a fulfilling lesson. Transitions will kill you. Make everything flow. Make sure you prepare small details ahead of time to ensure there is no loss of focus in the classroom. Not only master the art of gaining students' engagement, but also the art of not losing it in the first place. The next chapter is a crash course in presentational hooks. Dave Burgess talks about different presentational hooks to think about before and during planning your lessons. There's different questions that he discusses throughout this part of the book to get your mind going. You can also generate your own questions to better reflect your own teaching styles. This chapter is titled, I Like to Move It, Move It. The hooks that he discusses in this chapter involve movement. The brain and the body work best when receiving the flow of blood and oxygen. So using students as props, animate objects, or concepts can really help with engagement and keeping students focused on the material. Take the students outside and get them going with different sceneries. This chapter is titled Long Live the Arts. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. Albert Einstein. Art and music can help keep students very engaged as well. You should allow and encourage students to own their artistic skills and to get creative in the classroom. This chapter is titled What's in It for Me. In this chapter, you can learn to get students interested by incorporating their hobbies and real-world applications into the material that you're teaching. This chapter is titled All the World is a Stage. In this chapter, it discusses how to transform your classroom into the ultimate atmosphere for the lesson that's being taught in order to engage the students further. This chapter is called Stand and Deliver. It talks about how to be a confident public speaker, to use gestures, walk around the room, be engaging along with your students, intrigue them with different concepts that will keep them entertained and focused throughout the lessons. This chapter is called Advanced Tactics, and in this chapter it discusses different tactics and ideas to create engagement, to increase engagement of the classroom. In this chapter, Around the Edges, it talks about including games and challenges to make the lesson a true experience for the classroom. And this is the last part, Part 3, Building a Better Pirate. And this chapter is called The Awkward Question. Do you want to be great? Do you want to be safe and good, or do you want to take a chance and be great? Jimmy Johnson. Being great doesn't make you egocentric. It actually provides a model for others to emulate. Mediocre doesn't motivate people, so focus on being great. Chapter is called Where Do I Start? This is a very common question. People always wonder, where do they begin? And that's the hardest part. Overcome your fears and take action. Thinking will not overcome fear, but action definitely will. This chapter is called Finding a Crew. It talks about collaborating with other teachers and professionals to learn from one another. And lastly, there's finding treasure. Once you've done the mental work, there comes a point you have to throw yourself into the action and put your heart on the line. Phil Jackson. This is the end of my presentation on Teach Like a Pirate. I hope you enjoyed it. Now go on and read the book all by yourself and learn to transform your life as an educator. Thanks for listening. Bye.